Hello friends, it is Kendra. Today I am doing something new, and if you watched my previous thrift haul video, you will know that I have recently been getting into sewing. New video today is going to be a sew with me. Now I had this idea. So I have this sweatshirt here, crew neck sweatshirt. I bought it one size larger than I normally would, and I probably should have started filming this before I did this, but my plan is to turn this into like a cardigan of sorts. So what I have done is literally just cut a straight line directly down the center front to open up the sweatshirt. It was just like a crew neck, the old plain sweatshirt. So what my plan is to do then, I have roughly marked out where I want the buttons to go, about every 4 inches, I think it was. Problem is, this is on the wrong side, and I also am going to, I figured out, these are the buttons I'm going to use. They are actually made out of coconuts, which is fun. So, brown, a little bit different, but I'm going to need, because they're about 1 inch wide, I figured I'd probably need about 1 inch, 1.5 inches of fold over, and then I'm gonna sew it down that line, down the front, probably one on each edge, and then on the other side, I'll have to sew on the buttons, and then hopefully when we're done, it'll look, it'll still look a lot like this, but it will have a cute finished button detail down the left side and then buttonholes down the other. Before I get started on this, it has been quite some time since I have made a buttonhole, so I have just a couple. This one I'm going to use because it's really close to the orange color that I have, and then just some other scrap fabric I'm going to practice making some buttonholes on, and then I think what I'm going to use, I know this doesn't match exactly, some people that would probably drive nuts, but I think I'm going to use this kind of golden mustard color with the orange, because I don't have a good orange color, and I don't have a good brown that would match these buttons. I feel like, maybe it's a little hard to see, they almost look black on camera, but they're a dark brown. Think of a coconut, what a coconut looks like. That's the color she is. Otherwise, the only other thread I have a lot of is this cream color, and that would stand out a lot more. So I think I'm gonna go with this golden color. I have another spool of it, so I will have plenty for this project. And yeah, so I think most of this will probably be time-lapse kind of thing. I know my sewing machine is very loud and obnoxious, so I'm definitely not going to be able to talk to you whilst sewing. And honestly, I'm not sure how good of angles I'm going to be able to get while doing all this stuff, but I'll do my best. And yeah, let's go ahead and turn this sweatshirt into a cardigan. So what I did first was practice making a bunch of buttonholes. A lot of them were not cute. I'm so glad I practiced. I'm probably gonna practice just a little bit more before I do them on the actual sweatshirt again. This one here turned out the best, and then I even split it open and I made sure that the button would be able to go through it, which it does. So that way I know it'll fit. I wanted it to be snug but not too snug, and that is the perfect size, right at about an inch, I think. Right? Yeah, exactly an inch. So yeah, gonna try to make a few more practice buttonholes like that. I've noticed that a lot of the time it was like, this is kind of hard to, it's not really focusing, but sometimes it would like catch on itself and then jump and make a weird like little ball and then skip. Yeah, that's not really great. And then some of the time like it was straight on one side, totally lopsided on the other. Yeah, these ones were not great. This one is even a little messier. But that one's pretty good. That one's, that one's a little lopsided. And then I also realized, I thought the very first stitches that I made was this one all the way up this side, and I realized I want this pretty stitching on this side, the finished side. So and that's the side I look at when I'm sewing, so good to know. And then I pinned all this. So if you, I don't know if any of you noticed, but I pinned one side, and then I pinned the second side, and then I realized the way I did it the second way was a lot better. So then I went back and redid the first side. So I kind of marked, I marked on the outside. Here you can see, this is how big it's gonna be. I marked on the outside the line just so I have an exact line to follow all the way down, and that is what I'm gonna stitch along. I also, I don't know if you noticed, I started with this gold thread I thought I was gonna use, and it was really, really thick, and it kept catching in the machine, and it was not working well at all for the buttonholes, and that was on this really thin fabric, and so I knew it would have even more trouble once I went to the thicker sweatshirt material. So I decided I'm just gonna have to try to make pretty stitches, and I'm going with the cream thread. I think it will be really pretty. It's still a neutral. I've been really into the neutrals and the creams and the browns, and this one is a lot more orange than I normally go for, but like the camel colors and like the rust browns and all that. Yeah, I've been really loving that. I think my coffee is cold by now. Iced coffee now. But yeah, so I am going to stitch along these edges, and then probably do a little bit more practice on my buttonholes, and then we will mark where the buttonholes and the buttons are gonna go. So let's get to that. time has passed, but as you can see, I have finished it. And I even added a little K over here and just some like little rosettes, they're little French knot embroidery things. I worked on this K. I started it about 5 times and I resorted to just doing a little back stitch there because it was the easiest. And yeah, anyway, like I said, I will not likely wear it like this, so there we go. And here we are. Here is the finished product. I guess I can stand up, let you see. Just a little K. Overall, I am really happy with how this turned out. I do think it does look a little bit funny with the contrasting thread color, but I honestly don't mind. I think if I were to do this project again, then I would do like a matching color. I also think I could have made these buttonholes slightly smaller because the buttons have plenty of room to go in there. And also, if you can notice, the fabric slightly dips up right there at the top of the buttonholes. I think that just has to do with this being a little bit of a stretchy fabric, and you can really see it here. It kind of warped it a little bit. I think what I could have done for that is use a walking foot on my sewing machine, just so that the fabric had a little bit more room to move rather than getting like pushed and stretched out. Anyway, yeah, overall, I think it turned out well. The last little time lapse you saw was probably me sewing on the buttons, and the first 2 went a lot slower than the last like 5. As you can see by the backs of them, like this one I got a lot better than like this first one is a little weird and goofy, but yeah, it turned out really nicely. My buttons are all spaced correctly, line up perfectly with the buttonholes. But yeah, I am very happy with how it turned out, and even have my little personalization moment. I wasn't planning on doing that, but once I was finished, I was like, it needs a little something something like in the corner. I honestly thought about, I was like, oh, this could be my like sewing sweatshirt, and I could like embroider all sorts of different things on there. Yeah, after doing just this little bit, this is all that's gonna be on here because this was kind of a pain as is. But yeah, very happy with how it turned out. Please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video. I've really been enjoying sewing lately, and yeah, it would help me out if I know if you enjoyed these videos. I will try to make more. So yeah, I hope you have a lovely day, and thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.